So we are talking about A.M. Holmes' The Mistress's Daughter. She's just such a fantastic writer, and I relate so much to. And what I love about her is just, I think we mentioned this the last episode, was just how hilarious her writing is,
Right
while
in the middle.
also
Yeah.
deep and introspective. And
These one-liners that you're like, oh God, it's so rich.
um, but now so we're in the midst of her new phone relationship with her birth mother, Ellen. And but also that she talks about her adoptive parents. I highlighted this line. She said, I think of my mother having lost a child 6 months before I was born, having ushered him into and out of the world. I think of her having received me as a kind of get well gift, and then worrying at any moment that I too would be gone. I was my parents were 23 when they adopted me. And I think of me as, like, was I kind of also a get well gift in a way?
Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, it's a great way she wrote it. It struck me as well because my mom went through loss of a baby, and it's like, here is a healing person to heal your life. you
Yes.
know the thing that I enjoyed so much about this, I followed my husband down the hall reading lines about it this morning. I'm like, literally, listen to this line, because there was a part in here where she talked about her mother's meeting and how she realized, or before her mother's met, how she didn't have she's not anybody's child.
Yes.
Do
I
you have that
highlighted. I was going
line?
to read that, but I wanted, before we get there, I wanted to talk about the wounds of her own
Mm,
birth mother, because which her birth mother didn't tell her what, but just about her,
yes.
and I know, my own birth mother also had wounds, having been adopted into a very Christian Lutheran minister, older parents
Older
with an older
parents.
brother, and that wound of kind of
Hmm.
insecurity, that I always could feel that with my own birth mother. But also there was a literally, like, line for line of something that Tilda, my birth mother, said to me when Ellen is asking AM, why won't you see me? You're torturing me. You take better care of your dog than you take care of me. Tilda said that to me at one point. You love the dog, every dog on the street, more than you love me. There's just so much
it it's the hitting of, also she said, uh can't you adopt me? Didn't she ask her, can't you
yes,
adopt me?
yes.
And
You should adopt me and take care of me.
yeah,
Uh,
and she's like, I don't want a 51-year-old a child. And I guess you're right, I did jump ahead. There's a part at the beginning where she also, when I have this thing where, with my bio family who I'm going to see coming up, I do the more they want to know me, the less I tell them. And I could never sum it up. I'm like, oh, they're asking me so many questions. I feel, because they whatever. I love this line. Our conversations are frequent. I call her a couple times a week, but I don't give her my phone number. They are seductive, addictive, punishing. Each one shakes me. Each requires a period of recovery. Each time I tell her something, she takes the information and holds onto it close, reinventing it and delivering it back to me in a manner that leaves me wanting to tell her less, wanting her to know
uh-huh.
nothing. That, I mean, I've never read something. I try to tell people and I can't explain what the heck my problem is. And I'm like, there it is. That's the paragraph. I'm almost going to put it in the.
I too was like that. Eventually I came around, unfortunately it was like as Tilda was nearing death and I got
Yes.
close to her. I mean, we were close, but I struggled for
Yes.
so many years on that. So I related to that totally.
And just, we do have to talk about the humor because there's some great one-liners in here, like the raspy voice. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. The one thing that I highlighted, which is what you were getting to before,
mhm.
was the lack of purity became clear to me. I am not my adopted mother's child. I am not Ellen's child. I'm an amalgam. I will always be something glued together, something slightly broken. It is not something I might recover from, but something I must accept to live with compassion.
Mm.
I think from all the adoptees we've talked to over the last year and a half, that is pretty much what everyone has said
Yeah.
and conveyed feelings,
Yeah.
feeling the same way.
Yeah.
Weirdly, kind of in motherless children in some way.
Yeah. It should almost be the headline for us,
Yeah.
for everybody. There's not anybody who can't relate to that line.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at your beautiful Woody. He looks like a statue behind
Oh,
you.
look at Woody.
sorry, listener, but her dog is doing the cutest thing.
Yeah, if you're on YouTube, you can see Woody right now.
It's very regal.
Yes. He's a good boy.
The other thing she tackles in here, and I don't want to give too much of the story away, but where she does meet is it Norman? Why am I blanking? Her
father. Yeah, her biological father.
And he is a piece of cake. Like, I am just like, what? This guy is too much.
Yes.
Well, and then you see the trauma her Ellen, her biological mother, went through, because even how he talks about her is so like she was young and knew too much about sexual things at her. Well, hello, she was a kid and you were having relations with her.
Yeah.
And what do you think she's going through at home to cause this? Right. I mean,
yeah,
I'm curious because you probably know more, but I don't know where it's going with him. And I'm very
well. We'll keep reading because if our listeners are reading along with us, we'll just keep talking as we read.
And I hope you are. I hope listeners, you
are. It's such a great book. It's a great book. She's such a good writer. So,
and even, by the way, if you're not adopted, it's a great book, and you should be.
If you're not adopted, exactly.
And then you'll understand things too.
Because it's not some heavy duty. It's not like the last couple of books we read, which were very sort of clinical and
analysis
and intense. This is fun while also deep.
So. Yes. Well, Sarah, I can't wait for our next guest.
I know. Our next guest is a great one.
I'll see you in a minute.
See you in a minute.